Hey guys, Paquette here, and today we are joined very kindly by both Jonathan and Neon, aka Mark II, Rise, and Octavian. Since we've had this question a lot, just to get straight into it, do you guys mind introducing yourselves to anyone who doesn't quite know who you are and like what it is you do at GGG?
Yeah, so basically I'm Jonathan. I'm the tech director at GGG, so that basically means being in charge of the tech team, but I also do a lot of the sort of high level like design kinds of things, and like just working with a lot of different departments to sort of work out what sort of stuff needs to happen in order to move things forward. And yeah, that kind of thing.
I am Mark II, also known as GGG Neon, or Neon Spider. This is a tricky one because I still don't know what my title is, but ultimately, I try and just make everything right. Production, design, balance, anything. Just trying to make sure all the pieces fit together and move, and everything gets developed. And coordinating with Jonathan and Chris a lot.
I would definitely say he's one of the most important people at GGG in terms of like, making sure everything happens, because like he's a powerhouse of a producer, I would say, and also very good at doing that kind of design, especially boss design. I would say is your speciality is boss design, as a designer, but definitely just like getting stuff done as a producer. So yeah, probably one of the best hires we ever had, honestly. And it's kind of funny actually, because like when we first went to hire you, I was kind of not so sure about it, because like because we saw it and
straightforward about it.
Like we were like, oh, this guy's just like he's just like playing PoE all the time. He's like not actually like a good at working. He's just like some just gamer who's like playing way too much PoE. So yeah, we weren't. I wasn't like 100%, but Chris was like, nah. He was like, he's gonna be awesome. So
is this the first time Mark's heard this bit of the story?
I'm sure it's not.
I left the office. It was a very interesting experience, but showed up. Interview was just standing in the middle of the office, real informal. Everyone could hear. I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on here. We effectively just had some bants, and then I left, and I was like, I don't really know what just happened. It was interesting, but I got the impression that Jonathan wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's interesting because I have since learned to value just like game playing experience a little more, because I kind of had the impression of like, yeah, this guy's just like, he's just playing games all day. He doesn't actually work, but obviously definitely like Mark II's like the hardest worker at our company. So, he put all of the like grinding that you were doing previously and like Ashron's Call and stuff like that into like making PoE. So
I think at the time I was playing, I was raiding in Rift.
That's
and
right,
then
Rift.
Diablo 3 was coming out. Yeah, it was Rift and Diablo 3.
Yeah, I do remember actually you being a big Rift person.
I was a Rifter.
I've never played that game. So yeah,
I played it for a bit. I really liked it, but I couldn't get my friends to stop playing WoW, so I stopped playing it to go back to WoW, and I was very upset. Yeah. But Rift was cool.
Right. Full circle.
How did you?
To be honest, just real quick, like to give even more credit to Neon, because I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with him from ETUP stream. It was very cool, I would say, for the community to just have somebody from GGG that was kind of like always there, and the connection was there. It was very cool.
Right. Very good.
I was gonna ask, how did you get that first interview?
We were desperately wanting QA at the time. Like we were super like, because do you remember what year it was?
End of 2012.
Really?
Wait, when did we release?
Well, so we started we started selling supporter packs in April 2012.
Oh, when did we release?
Act
3X.
Act 3X. 13 probably.
Yeah, I think it was early 13 we did that, and I started just before that, so like December 2012.
Wow, okay. So we didn't even have you for like supporter pack release, like that sort of stuff. Wow, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell we were doing back then.
From my perspective, there's a bit of a chain here. I knew someone named Alex, and I knew Alex, well, I don't know if anyone remembers Duolc, DUOLC. He was the Soul Taker supporter.
Right.
And I knew him through my brother, and that guy worked for GGG for 2 weeks, I believe it was, covering Rory when Rory took a couple weeks off as QA. I might have this wrong, but I think it was something like this.
Right.
And he contacted. He was the one who went to the office and had a piece of paper with a sign on the door that said like beta keys.
Right,
Please,
that was the guy. I had no idea.
So he just happened to live kind of in proximity to the office. So he told Chris, "You just have to hire this guy. Just do it." And then I got a call from Chris. So technically, it's through my brother, I guess, at the start of that link. So thanks to my brother.
Yeah, very good.
Cool.
Well, now that we know who everyone is and everything, just to get straight into the Blight thing, could you guys give the Blight sales pitch, in your guys' opinion? Like, why should people be excited to play Blight League?
So the basic idea obviously is tower defense. That's like the sort of the core thing a lot of people will get. But I think the most important thing for us was to kind of distill that sort of like tower defense feel. I really need to get rid of that bird. To distill the tower defense feel like into a format which is like super fun to play over a really short period of time. Like so I mean, like obviously, like some of our best leagues have been things like Legion and stuff like that, where there's kind of this thing like this like really fun, intense event that occurs like in the level. So we really wanted to make sure we're doing that kind of thing. And so we want to just get this sort of like this like micro tower defense feel, and it actually ends up being quite cool feeling. Like we kind of have to get the sort of tension with the tower defense gameplay to sort of make sure that like, if you like, it's definitely impossible if you don't use towers, but if you do use towers, it still takes a lot of effort to actually be successful in terms of like your actual character. So that's kind of like the like the tension that we sort of have to sort of create this league. And when you get that tension right, it's actually quite fun. And it's actually it's sort of almost in a way similar to Abyss as well. It sort of has a similar feel. It's kind of almost like reverse Abyss. In a way, like the thing ripples out and the monsters come to you rather than you running down it. But yeah, like it ends up kind of having a similar sort of feel to it a little bit. But obviously there's like more lanes, so it's a bit different. That's kind of a bit of a rambly thing. I kind of didn't really distill that down as like a really small package for you, but that's just kind of the top of my head feels. I don't know if you've got any different ideas about it.
Just keeping it short. I'd say medium to high intensity, fun micro tower defense encounters.
It's like the short but sweet, short but sweet explanation, I guess.
You said you were interested in like distilling down tower defense, making it more of a micro thing, I think is what you called it, that could fit in a Path of Exile. What aspects of tower defense were you like really hoping to be able to grab and pull into Path of Exile? Like what was it about tower defense that attracted you guys to this as a mechanic? Like, yes, this is the thing we want to do as our next league.
So for me, I used to play quite a lot of like Warcraft 3 custom maps, like custom tower defense maps. That's kind of where I got my tower defense fix from originally. And there was like a huge variety of that type of gameplay. So I mean, it was kind of like a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. We actually wanted to do tower defense a few times in the past. Like I think like it must have been mentioned like at least 3 or 4 times in the past when we were doing league designs, but we just never came up with a way to sort of make it happen quite. And then I was playing so like most of the tower defenses that I played in those days were like the kind of mazing style where you like build towers and then the monsters have to like path around them. But that type of power defense was just never going to work in Path of Exile because like it's kind of like it sort of implicitly requires that you're playing like a longer form encounter, which wouldn't really work in the context of like the small encounters we're doing. So then I played a different one where it was like I think it was like Kingdom Rush or something on mobile a while back. And then it's when I realized, like, okay, yeah, the thing with the lanes are fixed and the towers are placed in specific locations would work much better for the sort of format that we have here. And so, yeah, like I quite enjoyed like that game and a few other tower defense games like it. So that was kind of the thing where I was like, yeah, I think we can do something like this. But the focus really had to be on still making it feel like Path of Exile, like still feel like a good encounter that where the player is like super engaged. So we had to sort of make sure we're still getting that, as I've said a couple of times. But yeah, that's kind of like that. Those are the kinds of games. It's sort of hard to say like exactly what the name of the fun that is, if you know what I mean. Like it's kind of it's sort of hard to explain exactly, but I've got a lot of fun memories of tower defense from back in the days, and I just wanted to replicate that feeling, I guess that's where it comes.
It's hard, yeah, because it's been so many years. I think a lot of people are just not familiar with the tower defense genre
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and like
So-
the Reddit comments were like, "Oh, it's like balloons," and I'm like, "Huh, that's like not even a reference point that I would have thought people would would grasp onto." You know what I mean?
I'll admit
Yeah.
that's where my mind went as well.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, I know.
I didn't grow up playing like Warcraft custom games and things like that. My experience
right.
with tower defense games are their modern modern successors.
Right. Yeah.
Did you at all maybe play the Van Helsing tower defense game that came out many years ago now?
I haven't actually. I played Van Helsing a little bit, like the original one. I didn't even know they had a tower. Have you played that?
Yeah,
No.
there was.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, there used to be. Well, the Van Helsing game had a mini game, and they eventually turned it into an entire standalone game, and
Huh,
it's
okay.
quite fun. So
Right.
interesting
Alright.
to see.
I should probably have a look at it before we release Blight. Like, see if I did anything quickly to do something with it. Yeah.
6 more days. Well, 5 now.
Yeah, that is true. You'd be surprised how how close to the line these things still, these things go up to, right?
Trust me,
Yeah.
after that December thing you guys did, like I'm not surprised at all. When we were talking about when the league was designed, and it was like, oh, December last year? No, a month ago. Yeah, I think
Right, yeah.
you guys work really
The,
fast for sure.
the thing that we're still sort of trying to like work on right now is there's some terrain gen bugs where it doesn't like so the hard part is like making sure that the encounters will spawn correctly in the level. So there's quite a few cases right now, which is annoying, where like if the generator is failing to generate an encounter because like it can't quite fit it into the level. So we're kind of struggling a little bit with that right now to sort of get that done. And so I mean it's not exactly like a gameplay thing, but it is causing the gameplay to be worse, obviously, since it doesn't work sometimes.
It's definitely difficult with this, in the fact that you have maps like Toxic Sewer, where, I mean, if you think about Toxic Sewer, so how can you fit a tower defense into that? And that answer is not trivially. So to try and make sure that the complex encounters with, lots of lanes and lots of forking and good tree pattern can occur in that kind of map is very difficult. But we kind of do need to accomplish it, at least to some extent. Otherwise, of course, we will have it that no one wants to run those maps, and we still want it to be that. I mean, it is okay. I mean, what we'd see is another Legion with Glacier going on again if we don't get that right. So
yeah, so it is important.
Can I
hopefully we get that
ask
right.
why in Syndicate we had the special like fortification rooms, and then since then we haven't had that again? Because that seems like an easy fix in theory.
I mean, like, so it is, but the problem with that is that it means that you're losing some of the part of the thing that we want to take advantage of with the terrain generator is to have it so that the terrain generation leads to interesting situations that would otherwise not occur. So I suppose it would be possible to use something like that for certain maps. Like maybe that's actually a reasonable idea that I hadn't considered until now. Like maybe we just like have a special toxic sewer room that we can spawn just for that, just for that mode.
Yeah, we have considered it, and it is currently still on the cards for, if we can't get this generation right, then that's something we're going to fall back to and have a look at.
But I would definitely only want it to be used as a fallback. Like,
yes,
it's one of those things where you want to take advantage of the native terrain generation because it just feels more, like in tune with the level and so on. And we actually did have, because I mean, there was a period there where we went through this phase of like not really having the league mechanics in the level. And people actually started to tire about it quite a bit, like it was there was like there was like incursion and like, so what were the ones around that time that were like synthesis of course, and like there was a few around that time. People started to be like, I want to see more stuff in the actual level, and so we kind of have been doing that. And the other thing as well, actually, is that because we're working on 400 so much, our terrain guys are like super busy with that. And so therefore it's kind of in our, like all the leagues we've been designing on purpose have been like, hey, we want to minimize the amount of like terrain work that goes on because the terrain guys are so focused on 400. So yeah, like that's also a consideration. And so we might have to think about that for 390 as well. There will be a bit of terrain stuff going on with 390, I guess. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about what exactly that is. So yeah, so I mean, obviously this is getting a bit into the future, but yeah, like the that is so that, yeah, I mean the team's like stretched a little bit thin due to that. So we have to be a little bit careful about what exactly, like which teams we're putting on what at the moment. Yeah.
So
is that important for players to be able to run every map? Because you guys are what it seems like, at least, to be big fans of meta shifts and people playing different builds and maybe doing different maps, and now we
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
new
yeah.
atlas every time.
Right. So I mean, like, it's okay if like there are maps people prefer and maps people don't. But I think that if people are only playing exactly one map because that's the only map that matters, I think that's a problem. Like, it's fine, obviously, for the people like, here's the 10 maps that people care about this league. You know, I wouldn't want it to be, yeah, it's just this one now because that's like technically the best, and there's a problem with that. And I think the Glacier thing was a little bit like that. I don't know if you agree, but
Yeah. If we start a league and the immediate right answer is to just do the same as the last league, I consider that a little bit of a failure in that we should have promoted new options. We